Hello viewers, and welcome again to Discovering Truth, and I am Pastor Forbes from the Gateway of Abiding Word Ministries here in the Gambia. I'm privileged to be bringing this program to us. It's now 23 and a half years old, and I'm grateful to God for how He's helping us as we discover the truth. Tonight we want to get into part 2 of the series we started, and hopefully we'll end it here. If not, we'll take a third part. The series, as you know, is entitled Making Swifter National Progress and Advancement. I believe that is our desire, collectively and individually, and in all the groups. We all want to see Gambia go forward. That's all we want. And we have one of the greatest prerequisites for that to happen, and that's peace. We are known as a peaceful country. We are known as easygoing, lovely people, people who really don't hate each other. And that is one fundamental, foundational, key, non-negotiable that we have, that some other countries will pay billions to have. So we put that aside and never forget that, and we make sure whatever we do, we ensure that it becomes a generational asset for our country. But as we desire to make swifter national progress and advancement, because you can progress very, very slowly, not because the wheels of progress themselves turn slow, but because the positioning and the items, the indices that you can use to move faster are either not known or not being brought into play. We have identified 4 of them, and we will want to look at them, and I will want to profile them to us and see that if we use them at all the levels of our national life and at all strata of the national building, we will move faster, and there will be advancement. As I said last week, we have the size. The size gives us the advantage. The land size and the population size, we are less than 2.5 million people, and a sovereign secular republic. Here we are, peaceful tourist destination, possibly the shortest non-stop flight route from Africa into the US, Banjul to Miami, Florida, 5 hours, 50 minutes, 5 hours, 30 minutes, if it's possible. We have all that for us. Beautiful waterways, beautiful weather, so many things. That's why we are called the Smiling Coast. But if we want to progress quickly, swifter, and advance, and not something that we will do and then it breaks in the next 4 years or 2 years or 5 years or 7 years, but it just becomes the permanent way of operations in the Gambia, I am saying there are many things that we could do, but I've reduced them to 4. One is that we need the word of honor. The Gambian and the resident in the Gambia must be known as somebody who keeps his word of honor or keeps her word of honor, or the institution keeps its word of honor. Whatever IOU it takes, whatever MOU it signs, whatever UUU it does, we must make sure we keep our word of honor. We must do that because that's critical. Secondly, we must be people of integrity. Just permit me to go back to honor. There is this phrase you hear in English that your word is your bond. My word is my bond. When your word is your bond, you are a person of honor. You don't have to swear by your mother's grave, swear by any holy prophet, swear by, people make all these things unto whom I stand. I swear on my mother's grave, I swear on the holy prophet, and we do all that. No, if you keep your word, and you are a person whose word means everything to them, because again, as we say in English, if your word is no good, then you are no good. There are people who do business in the millions and billions based on one word, honor, the word of honor. And as we said last week, they say we did it based on a gentleman's agreement, a gentleman's handshake. or a ladies' agreement, a ladies' handshake, and let us design a phrase, a Gambian handshake, a Gambian agreement, or rather the Gambian handshake. And that should not mean bribery. It should not mean corruption. It should not mean that I'm looking at you and I'm lying to you while I'm smiling. It means I'm giving you my word of honor. From parents to children, children to parents, fiancé to fiancé, wife to husband, husband to wife, all the way to the governing and the governed, the leader and the led. So back to integrity. Integrity is that character of being non-duplicitous, of being non-shady, of just being straight. You are a person of integrity. You are integrated. You are whole. There are no 7 parts to you. When you are talking to people, they are wondering, which version am I dealing with? Is this the winter version, the summer version? Is this Forbes 2.5 or Forbes 1.7? Is it the nighttime Njai or the daytime Njai? No, there's got to be one. You are wholesome. You are integrated. You are an integer. You are figure 1. You have integrity. One of my favorite scriptures in the Bible, for those who know me, comes from the Psalms, Psalms chapter 25 and verse 21. And it says, may integrity and uprightness preserve me because I wait for God. Integrity and uprightness preserve you. So we want to advance our country collectively as we make small levels of advancement in our areas of oversight. There's got to be the word of honor in our lives. There's got to be integrity, and there has to be trust. You would realize if you started with me last week that there are 2 foundational scriptures from the Bible that I use on this series, and if you just join, the series is entitled How to Make Swifter National Progress and Advancement. And we use 2 scriptures. The first one is from the book of Amos in the Old Testament, chapter 3 and verse 3. And Amos 3:3 states, and I want to paraphrase it, that 2 people cannot walk together except they have come into agreement. Now, agreement could be tough. Agreement calls for give and take, compromise here and there. Agreement means that we were dug in, we stood our grounds here, I am not moving, but sometimes an interlocutor comes, a mediator comes, or the voice of reason comes. I mean, why be so dead on your right point, dead on your left point, and nobody is moving, nobody is winning, everybody is losing? So you start making shifts, compromises, giving in, without compromising your core. Because, ladies and gentlemen, in life there are core values, core principles, core ideologies, and then there are peripheral ones, the ones at the circumference that you can really negotiate on. But there are core which are non-negotiable because they are the very essence of your being, your morality, your principles, your value, your belief systems, your culture, your ethos in life, your character. So trust must be there. 2 people, 2 parties, 2 groups can only come together and work together with trust. But trust comes from integrity, and integrity comes from word of honor. Integrity is not a one-time reality. You say, I know him, I know her. He's a man of integrity. She's a woman of integrity. How do you know? She keeps her word. There has been not more than one incident, an opportunity for me to observe him or her break their word, their honor, their bond, but they've stood to it. Sometimes even at great personal expense, but integrity pays. So their word of honor brings their integrity, and from that you can trust them. Word of honor, integrity, and trust make up for what we also call a good name. And there is a verse in the Bible in the book of Ecclesiastes. So I just talked about Proverbs not too long ago. After the book of Proverbs is Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes has 12 chapters. In the 7th chapter and the first verse, verse 1, it says this: a good name is better than precious and expensive perfume or ointment. Because if the name, let's start with the perfume. The perfume is precious, it's expensive. There are perfumes and colognes that when you put them on your dress or on your body, you apply them, wherever you go to, they follow you. You go to a restroom in somebody's house, when the owner goes to use the restroom, they can smell the fragrance. You have deposited your fragrance. If you sit in their car, if you go to a restaurant, if you shake somebody's hand, if you give somebody a hug, you deposit your fragrance. Your fragrance follows you. That is so great. It's tremendous. But it is not as good and lasting as a good name. And so comparatively speaking, God is saying that if you were given the most expensive cologne or perfume to buy or to take as a gift, and you were given a good name, and by the way, a good name is not something you see, it's not empirical, you can't pick it up. But the perfume you can pick and spray. God is saying, take the good name. Because you see, the perfume cannot be generational. A good name can be generational. The perfume cannot open doors for you in offices and nations and conglomerates, but the good name can. Because in that good name, you can have a business card. And once they see that name, it is okay. You can open an enterprise and people rush to be a part of it. Not because you have a there is precedence with it. Maybe you've never done it before, but because it's you, I trust that woman, her word of honor, her track record, her integrity. I trust her. She has a good name. When you bring these three we are talking about, bring them together, you're going to find respect. Self-respect, respect for other people, their opinions, their rights, their space, their responsibility, their obligations, their worldview, their perceptions, and respect for the greater good of everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine for a minute a family with no respect? An individual with no respect? Some of the things that brought us to where we got to as a nation could be termed as disrespect for human life, human property, for intelligentsia, just for peace, for dissent, for culture, for religion, for age, for the elderly, for morality and moral values, and the list is long. Now all those, and you can add your own words, you can strike all of those words off once you drop the dis from the respect and say respect. Because respect is honor again, it's integrity, it's trust, it's recognition, it's humility, it's consciousness of your own, if you like, inadequacy and need for somebody else to come join you, and you operate in agreement for the common good. National progress is not a myth. The success of nations or companies or individuals or families or groups or business enterprises is not a myth. Neither is it luck. It is so predeterminable. You can tell, you can plot the graph. Show me a company, show me a people, show me a nation, show me an individual that keeps their word and is respectful and is trustworthy and has integrity and I'll show you somebody going places. I'll show you somebody whose institution, whose family, whose children, whose spouse don't have to suffer for a lot of things at obviously the various levels. Respect at the village level is not respect at the national level, but it's all respect because of the track record. And you bring a card and you say, Mr. Bill Gates asked me to give you this card. When you see William Gates the third or second or whatever, you see honor, you see integrity. Trust is jumping at you. Respect is jumping at you. And on account of the integrity and the honor and honorability and the trustworthiness and the integrity of the name on that card, you will do business. You will go for that function. Ladies and gentlemen, it is said, and I've had the experience of, not personally, but a family friend, it is said that when you go to Harvard University, in particular, for your first degree, more so than for your second degree, your master's and so on, that before you graduate after 4 years, possibly 3 years from Harvard, you already have a job, a high value, 6-figure US dollar paying job. Why? Because Harvard has word of honor. Harvard has trust, is trustworthy. Harvard has integrity. Harvard has global respect and recognition. So you are a graduate of Harvard, go to sleep. So you now have a family friend that I know of had 2 main IT companies, global IT companies like Microsoft and Google, vying for her. One had given her a promise, and the other one said, look, we're going to give you a signing in bonus. Just for you to sign to work with us, this is the bonus. The bonus was in 5 figures, and it came with one of the top class brand new cars. And the person is less than 25 years of age. Why? Because of the integrity, the trustworthiness, the honorability, the respect and global renown of the college that they came from. Now, unfortunately, there are other colleges that some of us went to, and you have to keep knocking on doors, using your uncle and your friend and embellishing your CV and doing all kinds of magic and miracles. But somebody else, you have 2 global, top 5 companies in the world saying, I want you. In fact, I'm giving you a signing bonus right now, and we are giving you this brand new car just so that you say yes. Question: if that were done for you, if that were done for me, how much of you would you put on that job? You'll put everything. So successful outcomes, advantageous outcomes, swifter progresses are not by magic and luck or liya labinda, waiting God mark, waiting God right. No. Here you are. You have the chance to be somebody who keeps his or her word of honor. You have somebody who has the chance to be trustworthy. You know, let me chip this in. About 3 weeks ago, I did a little small financial transaction, and I counted what I was given, and it was more by just $400. And the next day I went to the place. I said, oh, by the way, we counted this money. It's more by just $400. This is your money. And I was told, first time in the Gambia. Now, I don't think it is true, but maybe for that person and that institution's experience, it was their first. The person said, first time in the Gambia. Now, that should not be so. If we keep our word of honor, we're people of integrity, and we respect and we're trustworthy, even though they did not see it, even though they do not know, even though it may not dent their business. Question is, should I lose my integrity, word of honor, trust, respect for $400? Never. $1,000? Never. $10,000? Never. $1 million? Never. Because I have learned personally that integrity can give you things that money cannot even buy. Integrity can open doors for you that money will be struggling to open for you. As we begin to bring part 2 to an end, and I think we'll have to do a part 3, ladies and gentlemen, for our nation to move quicker, faster, and to advance well nationally, so there is progress in every sector of our nation and business is booming and things are happening, because again, our size lends us every privilege and opportunity. We can make it by the size. The intelligence here is there. The hard-working ability is there. We just have to tune up on our word of honor, tune up on our sense of national integrity, personal integrity, tune up on trust, mean what we say what we mean, make our word our bond, and we must have respect at all levels. When you have respect, you will even hear truth from a child. When you hear respect, you will seek to receive information before you judge. When you have respect, you'll wait, be patient, be calm, because maybe every story, like a coin, has 3 sides. Not just the 2 sides that you see, but if you make a coin stand, that's another side. And when you have understood the 3 sides, then you can make an informed decision. 2 cannot work, 3 cannot work, except there is agreement. But in agreement, we will say the same thing. I believe the Hebrew word is homologous. We will say the same thing, homologous, same word. We will all be the same. The Gambian handshake, the Gambian agreement will do things the way that it would endear investors and all kinds of people to make their hubs in this country, because it's an example for the word of honor, it's an example for integrity, it is an example for trust, it's an example for respect for law, for everything, for the dignity of people, and it will be a win-win for us and for everybody else. I think I want to take part 3 as my final part, because there's still a lot more to flesh out, but our time is up. Let's leave it here for this evening, part 2. Until I come your way by the grace of God, have a good evening. Work on your own personal word of honor, your own personal sense of integrity, your trustworthiness, and your respect for people, regardless their views, regardless where they are. Have respect, because they were created by the God that created you. Have a good evening, and God bless you.